Hey guys, welcome to Sriram's IS. Welcome to the series News in Short. In this series, we cover one important topic daily, which is in news. So, the topic for today's discussion is landslides in Himachal Pradesh. This session is brought to you by Anshum Verma. I'm a practicing advocate in High Court of Delhi, and I've been teaching UPSC aspirants for more than 10 years. So, guys, as we know that the incidences of landslides are rising, there are reports almost every year from our hilly states, especially Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. These are the two states which are witnessing rise in the incidences of landslides. You can link this topic with GS3 disaster management, as well as you can also link this topic with GS1 changes to geographical phenomena and all those basic geographical concepts that are part of GS1. Now guys, the why this topic comes in news because last week there is a continuous rains that has been recorded in the northern parts of our country, especially the mountainous states, and the death toll due to the rain related instances, especially in the state of Himachal Pradesh, has rose to 72 now. This is a very recent data that has been recorded just 2 hours from now, and it is recorded on 17th of August 23. So the instances of floods, cloudburst, and landslides, all these natural disasters are on the rise in Himalayan region. And according to ISRO's Atlas, Landslide Atlas of India, all 12 districts of Himachal Pradesh are vulnerable to landslides. So that means Himachal Pradesh lies in a very prone area to landslides. All right. So in this video, we will see that what are landslides. We will analyze what are landslides. Then we will see what are the causes for landslides. What will be the consequences of these landslides. And in the last, we will see that what mitigation strategies we can look for, or we can, we can adopt in order to reduce the loss of life in future. All right. So let us start this video. But before I come to the concept, I request everyone to hit a like on this video, and you can share this video among your friends. So guys, landslides, how we can define landslides? So landslides is nothing but a movement of a mass rocks, mass debris of earth, or you can say it is a part of a slope which is gushing down the slope because of various agents. So there are various agents which are responsible for moving this huge blocks of rocks from along the slopes of the mountains. So generally, what are the agents? The main agent is water. However, at times wind also plays a role. Water, it loosens up the soil, or it loosens up the soil, which ultimately, results in gushing down of the part of a slope towards, or it moves down towards the slope. Along with this, one more important agent that plays a role is gravity. And all such movement along the slope under the influence of gravity is known as mass wasting. So there is a difference between landslide and mass wasting. In mass wasting, the prime agent is gravity, whereas in landslides, your prime agent is wind, water, and all these things. So all these landslides, it encompasses five modes of slope movements. For example, falls, that means a straightaway fall of a boulder, topples, slides, spreads, and flows. So these are the five type or five modes of the slope movement. What is a fall? Straight away some debris is falling from a height. Then topple is basically some big boulders which are rolling down the slope. This is what topple means. What are slides? Slides is where a pass or where is a part of a slope, it basically shifts its position, and the material, the earth, it gushes down. Spread and flows. Flows basically like when too much of water gets mixed into the soil gets saturated. Okay, the soil gets saturated, and with this saturation, it results in a kind of a landslide which are known as the mud flow. It is it is a type of a slimy liquid or a sludge kind of a slimy portion of the earth that flows down the slopes, is generally called as a mud flow. So in mud flow, again, the water acts as a main agent. Now let us quickly understand that what are the causes for landslides. So guys, the main cause for landslides are heavy rainfall. Too much of rainfall confined into a smaller area are the main cause. And from here we can also discuss a little on cloudburst. बादल फटना, जिसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं बादल फटना. So cloudburst, how we can define cloudburst? The thing is that if a area which is so small, that is 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer, receives a rainfall of 10 centimeter per hour, or let's say 100 millimeter per hour, then this event of heavy rainfall can be considered as a cloudburst. Now, what are the reasons for cloudburst? Why this cloudburst happens? We will discuss that in a separate video, maybe some other time. But along with heavy rainfall, cloudburst and rising instances of cloudburst in the hilly areas are also the reasons why, or the causes why, we are getting more landslides. Then next reasons are, some other reasons are deforestation. Like for example, we are cutting down all the trees in the slopes. And how do these trees help in preventing landslides? We all know, we have done this in our basic geography, that the tree roots keeps the soil, it binds up the soil together. That means it doesn't allow the soil particle to loosen up, and then it act as a slope stabilization. So when we are cutting down the trees, it will allow more soil to gush down the slope, or more landslide to happen. Then earthquake and volcanic explosions, these kind of tremors, or which ultimately disturbs the balance of the slope. These natural instances like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, they are also some of the natural causes for landslides. All right. Then rapid urbanization of the mountainous regions. Rapid urbanization, that means we are carrying out so much of construction activities in different areas, like too much of roads building up for a better infrastructure, for strategic positions, for development of tourism, and all these things. Then construction of tourist destinations like resorts, hotels. Then haphazard construction of domestic construction, like the transforming your regular kacha houses into pakka houses. All these type of construction, urbanization, building of roads are the main reason that the damage because of landslides are increasing. The loss of life and property from landslides are increasing. Then shifting agriculture, which is generally practiced in northeast India, which is also known as jhum cultivation, where one patch of a land is either burnt or it is cut down to practice agriculture, and then when the soil fertility is exhausted, they move towards the next patch of land. So this is another reason which can trigger landslides, and it is a result what we have already seen in many places in Northeast. And then the last point that I have already discussed, it is construction of houses and other buildings which are resulting into landslides. All right. Then the next part of this discussion is that what are the consequences of the landslide? What is the result of these landslides? Like all these instances of landslides are rising. In J&K it is rising, Himachal it is rising, Uttarakhand it is rising. For example, you cannot skip the instance of Joshimath, which is the next catastrophe that we are, moving towards. However, the government has taken a swift action to evacuate people from there, but anytime we can hear a news of landslides in Joshimath. So, what are the consequences? The major consequences are some short term impacts like loss of natural beauty, then destruction of communication lines, destruction of communication lines such as roadblocks, railway lines. All this hampers the, it is a part of your short term impact. How many tourists get stranded because of these landslides every year? Then channel blocking due to rock falls. So we all know that all this debris, it basically hinders the natural flow of the river. It hinders the natural flow of the rivers. So what will happen with all these channel blocking? The rivers can change their courses, and when rivers change their courses, it can further trigger another problem such as floods. And then the short term, other kind of short term impacts that you can add here is loss of life and property. Okay, there is a huge loss of life and property which is recorded almost every year. Long term impacts of a landslides, it includes change or kind of a permanent change in the landscape. Imagine, touch wood, if any such incident happens at Joshimath, don't you think the complete city will be, transformed, or the complete area will be revamped naturally, and that too a permanent in nature? Then loss of cultivable land. The mountainous region, they are already struggling with the areas to cultivate their crop. So again, landslides will further create loss of cultivable land. Then environmental damages in the terms of biodiversity destruction, destruction of natural habitat, biodiversity, destruction of habitat. All these things will result in long term impacts. Then it can create social problems like migration. Social problems, it will create social problems like migration. People will tend to leave their places and they will move towards urban areas, which will further result in many other problems. And at last, it can also result in drying up of all the sources, important sources of water. Okay, so let's suppose old lakes, old water bodies, some small channels, brooks, they can also be, destructed for a long term impact. Like you can say that they can completely vanish because of change in the landscape of that area. So these are the consequences. Now let us very quickly go through the solution. Now guys, what kind of solutions that you can look for to prevent landslides? First, some important solutions is that we can work on developing early warning systems, like more advanced geological research of each of the slope can help us in understanding the slope and understanding the pressure which is being created on the slope, and can prevent the loss of life and property in future. So development of early warning systems, then what we can do, we can have a proper vulnerability mapping, hazard mapping. That means we can locate all those slopes which are vulnerable to landslides at district wise. Okay, like which district has some highest probability of landslides destruction and all these things. So you can do a proper mapping, hazard zoning. That means you can identify specific slides and then you can work on the stabilizing measures of those slides. Let's suppose you know that this slope is vulnerable to slides, so you will develop all your capabilities to stabilize that part of the slope. So this is hazard zone, hazard zoning, hazard mapping. Then we can adopt area specific measures, like the zones which are vulnerable, you have mapped those zones, then you can follow area specific measures. Next, restriction on the construction, like we have to regulate the haphazard construction activity which is going on in the mountains. The unregulated, without any fear, they are constructing resorts, they are disturbing the balances, they are disturbing the stabilizing of the slope, or the balance of the slope. So all these are, we can check and we can regulate landslides. Then afforestation program. Tree is a solution to all the problems, guys. You can solve all environmental problems by planting trees. So more plantation you do, less will be the probability of landslides. Then we can promote sustainable farming in terms of sustainable agriculture, like terrace farming or scientific agriculture. All these things we can promote. Then some structural changes, like some structural measures. Structural measures, that means some engineering measures that you can adopt. For example, retention wall, building up of retention wall, some steel cages. All these things can help you to prevent landslides. One last point that I can give a solution as a solution is administrative alertness. Like, this is a very important point, administrative alertness. Now, what do you mean by administrative alertness? Like, whenever you know that all these instances will happen in, especially in rainy season, why can't the administration stop the movement of people in those places, so that it will automatically reduce it will automatically reduce the mobility of people, and hence probability of people getting affected. Okay, so I hope you uh, understood that what are the causes, what are the mitigation, and obviously why landslides and what are landslides. So in the end, guys, if you are planning to join a UPSC foundation batch, we have just started a UPSC foundation batch for UPSC CSE 24. You can join us at Unacademy using this code Srirams. This code will offer you a flat 20% off for all your subscription, and you can avail this to cover each stage of the exam. It will cover your prelims, your mains, your optional, along with that all other areas such as answer writing, mentorship, interview discussion, CSAT. Everything will be covered in this session, or in this course rather. So thank you for watching this session. I hope you enjoyed it. So if you have loved the information that I have shared, do not forget to hit a like and share this among your UPSC friends. So thank you very much. See you in the next video.